Wolfpack fans, and welcome to the 2018 preseason edition of Wolfpack Watch. I'm your host, Doug Wood, and with us this week, Coach Jim Bob Bryant. Coach Bryant, thanks for joining me.
Appreciate you having me. I'm excited about it.
This season, the last time we talked, Coach, we were leading into the summer session, workouts and whatnot. You had talked about several things that were going to go on during the summer, the draft for life, the team competition, stuff like that going on during the summer workouts and the summer sessions. Give us a little bit of a recap on that.
Okay, well, what we did first is we had our spring meetings with different position groups throughout the spring, and worked out hard in the weight room, and improved our speed. Each player dropped their 40 time by an average of 0.18 of a second. Came up anywhere from 10 to 15% on all three of our core lifts that we max on, so we're really excited about the gains that we made in the spring. And then right leading into our draft, the Pack for Life draft, we gave the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka golden ticket, that invited those guys to the draft and invited them to our spring practice. We gave out 96 golden tickets. Guys had to make a certain number of days during the spring to earn it. And then when we had the draft, we had 6 captains that were selected by their teammates, and we ran it just like the NFL draft. Whoever had the most votes as a captain got the first pick, so forth and so on. Each team had about 15 guys on each team to start the summer. And once we started spring practice and going into the summer, we had competitions every day. The first competition, obviously, is having the kids to show up. So Jordan Vinzial had the first draft pick, and if he's got 15 guys on his team and the first day of summer workouts he only has 13 to show up, he loses 20 points for each one of those kids that are not there. So he starts off the day with 60 points instead of 100. Then at the end of each day we have a competition, some kind of football competition or weightlifting competition. We never did the same competition twice, which takes imagination on myself and my coach's part to come up with different competitions every single day. But then those points, the winning team gets an additional 100 points at the end of the day. The second place team gets 80, 60, 40, 20, and the last place team has to clean the field and sweep the locker room at the end of the day. So we did that leading up to the end of summer workouts, and then the last week we kept the summer workouts. We told them it was like the playoffs. So everything is more important now, because if you lose, you go home. So we doubled the points for everything. At the end of the summer, Luke Dabble's team was the PFL champion, so they're going to get a couple of days off conditioning. They're getting a special Under Armour dry fit shirt that says Summer Champions, and they're also going to get a pizza party that we're going to do the week after this. The top 4 captains was Luke Dabble, Jordan Vinzial, Ross Malgram, and Zion Hawkins. Those 4 finished with the top number of points for the year, so those 4 guys remain our permanent captains for the year.
That's pretty awesome. We talked last time about how you got here, as far as coming from North Carolina down to North Paulding. How have you felt with this community relative to the football program, and even outside the football program, as you've blended yourself into the North Paulding school? We've had school just starting here recently, as well as getting into the football program and just the community at large.
Well, it's very, very supportive. The community in large is very supportive of football, and from what I've seen of all athletics. Our touchdown club does a great job, raising money for our program and helping get what we need as a program. And the fans come out and support. Just this past Friday night at our blue-gray game, there's probably 500 or 600 people in the bleachers watching an inter-squad scrimmage. So the support has been tremendous. And it's football all the time, which is something that I crave as a football junkie. I don't have many hobbies, outside of football, and watching college football and NFL football and, stuff like that. So being able to do football all the time here and actually having spring practice where we can actually have full contact is a change for me that we weren't able to do in North Carolina. So right now I'm enjoying the football aspect of it. And then my wife and I, love Georgia. We try. Well, not now that it's football season, but during the summer and during the spring, we check out a different little downtown area. We went to Woodstock. We'd go to Alpharetta, different things, and just try little different restaurants and stuff. And also in Dallas and Kennesaw, all the surrounding areas, and Ackworth. So we love the Georgia area. And my oldest stepson just moved in with us. He just finished high school and he's going to go to school in Georgia. So he just moved in with us last week.
That's some pretty impressive traveling over the summer there, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about the Blue-Gray game on Friday night. I was up here to announce that, and for those Pack fans that weren't able to join us, a little bit of a new tradition that Coach Bryant has started this season. We're having a Blue-Gray game scrimmage on the Friday night leading up to our initial scrimmage against another high school. Tell us how you think that went. I mean, it was a pretty exciting game, blue versus gray, pretty evenly matched teams. They battled throughout, and a double overtime thriller.
That's right. It was, like I said, I couldn't have scripted it any better. For the first time we've had an inter-squad scrimmage here at North Paulding at 9 o'clock after I meet the Pack. And, it went to double overtime, and, it was almost getting ready to go to triple overtime. We had one pass in the end zone that got tipped for a 2-point conversion that would have sent it into triple overtime. But, the kids enjoyed it. They had a great time, and, and that goes back to everything that we've been preaching about. Everything in life's a competition. So, when the score was tied 14-14 and then 21-21, and people thought that I was going to leave it at a tie, I'm not going to leave it at a tie. There's always going to be a winner and a loser. So we went by Georgia high school rules, and we ran our overtime from the 15-yard line, both teams getting the opportunity, and the blue team scored and then the gray team scored, and then we went down to the other end and did it again, and then we made them go for 2, and the blue team got the 2-point conversion and the gray team scored but didn't get a 2-point conversion. So it was a great evenly matched team. I thought the teams were very evenly matched on both sides, and it was a really exciting game for the kids and for the fans as well.
So tell us a little bit about what the mindset or what you saw after the game as it relates to the kids' demeanor, and were they really pretty excited about this? I know they were going up against their own teammates, but it seemed like both teams were out to win this game, and they really wanted to. So tell us what you thought about the way they acted after the game.
Well, I told both teams. I told both teams at the end of the game they played great. I said, the gray team could have folded shop when they were down 14-0 in the first half, but they kept fighting, and leading into the third quarter, they had tied the game up, and then we had some of our younger kids play some in the fourth quarter, and when the gray team went up, I decided, all right, we're gonna put all the starters back in. Well, starters, they're first team, second team guys. We're gonna put them back on the field with the gray team, and give the blue team an opportunity to make a game of it in the end. And we saw a lot of things, and as coaches, we evaluated what each individual player and what each position group did on film. We filmed it from the press box and then filmed it from a drone. So I had about 20 offensive notes and about 20 defensive notes that I came up with to go over in our staff meeting today at 6. And then each coach came up with their own, graded each one of their players when they played, and that's kind of how we'll go forward going into the Hiram week.
Speaking of that, we're going into our full scrimmage against Hiram High School next Friday right here at the Den, 7:30, I believe. Coach, give us your thoughts going into a full scrimmage against another team. You actually have already had a scrimmage against Rome in the spring, but now you're going into a fall season where the schedule is going to get only tougher as we go through. Tell us what you're looking forward with the Hiram game.
Well, we want to continue to get better, and I tell the guys each week, because right now, there's so much newness going around. We've got a new athletic director, we've got a new principal, you got a new head coach, we're running a new offense, we got a new defensive coordinator, new way to do special teams, a new way that we train them in the weight room, a new way that we train them in speed and agility, new accountability. Everything's new. So right now, what we want our kids to do is focus one day at a time and one game at a time. And we want them to get a little bit better from our inter-squad scrimmage Friday to our scrimmage leading up to Hiram, and then each week get better. We don't ever want to peak until we get late in region play, leading into the playoffs, which we better peak getting into the region that we're going into, as tough a region as that is. But we're excited about the opportunity to play Hiram. They've got a new head coach. He and I have spoken several times on the phone, and their offensive coordinator is actually from North Carolina. He and I knew each other. We knew some coaches that he used to coach with, were buddies of mine. So we came down and did a 7-on-7, or they came down actually and did a 7-on-7 with us here one day during the summer. So I got to see him, and we got to actually see Hiram, and our kids got to go up against him a little bit. So we're excited about Friday night.
You spoke a little bit about the region play, and we won't talk about deep into the region play and the season, but yes, we are in a tough region, and just knowing what I saw last year, I know you're new to the region and stuff like that, but just knowing what I saw and knowing the teams we have to face, we're in a dogfight this year based on everything. Even the teams that we beat, I'm not so sure that we're lined up to just tear them up this season. So you do have your work cut out for you. I wish you guys all the luck and everything. Talk about a little bit about. I know we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but scrimmage game is what it is, and I know you guys will be playing not only the starters for a certain period of time and try to get your second and third teamers in for a look, but we're leading into that first Paulding County game here in the Den 2 weeks from this past Friday. Talk about the mindset a little bit, not necessarily from the actual opponent, because you don't want to try to get too far ahead there, but just the mindset that you have the kids going into relative to those games, saying to yourself, hey, we've got to come out of the box pretty hot.
We do, and that's, we talk about that winning each play, and if you win each play, then that winning that play will win that drive. If we win that drive, then we'll win the quarter. If we win the quarter, we'll win the half. If we win the half, we'll win the game. So we want to string all those things together and let the scoreboard speak for itself at the end. And that's what we want to try to do against Hiram. We want to try to win every down that we step on the field and every play, and then each individual battle with the guys. Football, I think, is the ultimate team sport, and these guys have got to they've got to play together and have a chance to win every Friday night, no matter who we're playing, no matter how talented we are or how talented they are. We've got to do things the right way and do things as a team that's going to give us an opportunity to win on every Friday night. And if they're keeping score, then we're playing to win, and we expect to win. We're not going to go into a season and say, all right, well, guys, a good season this year, we want to finish 4-6, or we finish 6-4. I mean, no matter. It doesn't always matter what you have on your team. It's kind of what everybody else has leading into it. Sure. And what we have is we're a talented team, but we are very inexperienced and very young. So depending on how fast these guys can grow up and grow into the roles of being varsity football players and varsity starters, when we have we have to replace 9 starters on defense and 8 on offense. As quickly as these young guys can grow up and win each play and win each series, then we'll have a chance to be successful on the field.
We're certainly looking forward to it. Again, as we said, next Friday night here in the Den versus the Hiram Hornets in the full scrimmage. And then 2 weeks from now will be the opener of the 2018 season right here in the Den against the Paulding County Patriots. We look forward to the season opening in 2 weeks. Look forward to the scrimmage next week. We love talking with you, Coach. And we will be back next week to recap the Hiram scrimmage, going into the Paulding County game, and looking forward to this, the season further on down the line. Coach Bryant, I appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate it.
And we'll talk again next week.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Take care.
Go Pack.